Ladies and gentlemen, I'm from China originally, yeah, and China has a strong spiritual tradition, actually. All the 5,000 years of civilization, spirituality has always had a significant place in the society. Of course, different people may have different definition on what spirituality is. I would say maybe spirituality is, something beyond the material side of life. Yeah, it's part of our life, part of our perception, and part of our understanding that there are a lot of things which may not be visible. Yeah, you may not be able to touch it, to feel it, to see it, but they are there. And they are not just there, they are very influential. Yeah? And that's, for me, is, you can say, the spiritual sphere of our life, parallel to the material one. So, as I said, in the long, long history of China, spiritual belief has always been part of the Chinese history. Actually, until today. But the problem came, actually, that about 71 years ago, China got a new governance, yeah, of a group of people who are not that spiritual. Yeah? But, of course, spiritual movement is something, has always been part of mankind. So even this non-spiritual group of people who took over the power in China, they did not manage to kill all spirituality. But it caused a lot of problem for the spiritual people. Now today, I focus on one of these spiritual movement called Falun Dafa. Falun Dafa started to spread in China, became really popular, 1992. Yeah? And it was spreading very fast, very fast. Yeah? So in 1999, 100 million Chinese practiced Falun Dafa, also called Falun Gong. Maybe you have heard about one of these two concepts. Yeah? It's the same thing, Falun Dafa, Falun Gong. I liked Falun Dafa, so I use Falun Dafa. And the Falun Dafa, is of course a huge teaching, very rich content in this teaching. But to simply explain to you what it is, Falun Dafa try to help people to improve their health and to improve or to enrich their spiritual life. The improvement of health, you can say maybe that we can see there are 5 different exercise, physical exercise, in slow movement, yeah, very slow movement. 4 of them was you do it by standing and then moving your hands slowly, yeah, and with a certain, you can call it, some people call it, it's a kind of energy exercise, yeah, because it's not a gymnastic, okay? It looked like gymnastic in slow motion, but it has a spirituality in it also, I guess, the person is connected to many dimensions, and this slow motion is not just for this dimension. And then there is also a kind of spiritual teaching behind Falun Dafa. People learn that the most important factors to improve one's quality as human being, yeah, is to be more and more truthful, compassionate, and forbearant. Yeah? So these are the 3 important components: truthfulness, compassion, forbearance. And this spiritual teaching got a tremendous attention from Chinese people at that time, in the beginning of the 90s. Yeah? And it, as I said, 1999, it became as many as 100 million people. As I said, Chinese people is deep-rooted in their culture. And the Chinese culture actually has always been very spiritual. Yeah? And they understand very early that human being is not just a being in this dimension. It is connected with many other dimensions. To simplify it, they talk about the connection to heaven. Yeah? A heaven actually is a synonym of the whole universe, the whole cosmos. So a human being is connected to the whole cosmos. There are many, many connections. So already in ancient China, there is a strong belief that the highest level of spirituality a person can achieve is to come into a total harmony between heaven and man. They call it 天人合一, meaning heaven, man become one. Yeah? So this, and how to do it? They believe the way you come to that total harmony is to be a good person. And now Falun Dafa make it very clear. What is a good person? Well, a good person is when you are truthful, compassionate, and forbearant. So that's why the more compassionate you become, the more forbearant you become, the more truthful you become, the closer you are to this total harmony with the whole universe. Okay? Now, this is great. That is really great. But the problem is, as the title of my speech says, yeah, the spiritual movement Falun Dafa under a problematic governance. The government of China, the ruling party of China, which is the same thing, 1999, when they found out that, wow, 100 million people practice this Falun Dafa. That means every 13 Chinese, one of them practice Falun Dafa. And Falun Dafa is so different from what this ruling party believe. Ladies and gentlemen, you know that the ruling party in China, they are not very spiritual, okay? They are pure materialist. They don't believe that there's anything after death. They don't believe that there is something called reincarnation. They don't believe that there is, something invisible, another dimension, which can be as influences other things that is visible. They don't believe in that. And they are all atheists. Atheist has difficulty to become a spiritual person, yeah, because to have a kind of understanding of the divine beings, it itself is immediately a spirituality, yeah. So and that these two way of thinking, make how should I say, there's a potential conflict, potential contradiction, which is difficult to compromise. So, in reality, it really happened like that. It really developed like that. So 1999, when the party boss found out that 100 million of Chinese are becoming spiritual in the school of Falun Dafa, Falun Gong, it was too much for him and for other ruling party functionaries. So what they did, they banned it. They banned it totally, overnight, just using a kind of excuse, claiming that this organization, actually there was not even an organization, there's only a kind of teaching, and then the teaching initiated a sort of, you can say, popular movement. They claim that this movement disturbed the social order, okay? And they never could point out exactly what social order which was disturbed. So, but the band itself sounds still not so bad. But the thing is, what happened if you still keep on believing what you believed, and you still want to, as spiritual as you was before? What happened is, you get arrested. Well, actually, more correct to say you get kidnapped, because there's actually no legal reason to arrest a person just because he make meditation. Yeah, I mean, people in India will find it very strange that making meditation can become a crime. But that, unfortunately, under a problematic governance, all this kind of strange thing may happen. So all these Falun Dafa practitioners, they become, so to say, illegal because they meditate, yeah, and they end up in labor camps, in jails, and many of them even end up not only being tortured, but end up in an operation chamber in a hospital, in an organ transplantation center, because the total atheistic and total unspiritual or non-spiritual party, they don't see the spiritual value in even a human being. So for them, if a human being is not serving me for my power, he is then useless. He's worthless. So they can send this guy to the hospital and let some doctor cut out their organs and make big money of it for transplantation, unfortunately. So to say a problematic governance is really the softest possible way to describe such weight of governance. Now, but the good thing in the whole, the whole matter is this Falun Dafa practitioner, they have been persecuted for 20 years, actually more than 20 years. Yeah? Soon will be 21 years, since 20th of July 1999. But they are still very spiritual. They are very peaceful. Up till now, not even this anti-spiritual party dare to claim any of this person has been using force or violence to protest. No, only peaceful protest, 100% peaceful. And this is great. Because that, for all spiritual people understand, violence will only create more violence in long term. But using peace, like Gandhi did, at the end, we hopefully will have less and less violence in our world. And actually, this Falun Dafa practitioner, not only they are protesting peacefully, they are also trying to rectify the whole thing by spreading information peacefully. They call it truth clarification. And they try to promote information freedom because they trust the Chinese people. Only if the Chinese people get the right information, China will be better. And only then will be better. Any other mean, which is not spiritual in my opinion, to try to change the situation by, making another revolution using violence and force will not solve the problem long term. Just create another problem or make the problem even more complex. But the Falun Dafa practitioner has been peacefully doing a lot of good things, such as developing free of charge software to help Chinese people to break through the internet censorship so that Chinese people can get the right information. And when more and more Chinese people get the right information, then they know which side is the right side of the history. So thank you for listening to me. Thank you.